Sáquenme la botella que funda pa' gastar. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. So baile, baby, ese seguro y retrocede. Que marcaste la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo pégate un poquito pa' mí, que yo quiero enseñarte lo que yo tengo pa' ti. Lo que tengo pa' ti. Sé que te va a encantar como meto yo.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Yes, Primetime Studios. I am your host, Primetime Phil. Yeah, Gametime Bryan. It doesn't matter because both of us are
you
here.
almost said it.
I almost said I was gonna go because I was gonna start messing around. You
I'm
were
your
throwing
host,
some
Primetime
flashing.
Studios.
Yeah, I was Primetime somebody. I don't know who the hell I am, but either way, I am here.
Lockdowns.
Gametime Bryan is in the house. What is going on, sir? Welcome back.
I just got out of the sun. I just took a shower because I was drenched. I was out there sanding my deck and I only got about not even half of it done, but we're doing it slow in the right way. But I'm doing good. Saturday afternoon live stream. I love it. What's going on, man? What is happening?
It has, as I experience the summer right now, my where my job is doing a huge program, and so this is the time in between there as they're setting up everything, and then of course the kids are away for the summer. Obviously, some possibility of kids moving out, getting their own places as well too. So it's a little sad, but at the same time, you're like in between. And so all the kids are away right now, so the grown-ups will play. Right now, my significant other is actually she's kayaking right now, man. She's enjoying herself.
Wow.
And so here I was like, this is the perfect time to do a broadcast on a Saturday, not pushing it till Sunday, because I said we do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're like the NFL, man. We're just any day of the damn week. Yeah. You don't know when we're gonna go. We don't even know when we're gonna go. That's how unpredictable.
We gotta have your head on a swivel. Phil texted me this morning. Hey, what's up? I'm like, he wants to do his stream.
Yeah, you can tell.
I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
I'll try to see if
I'll
you
work
were
around you, brother.
I first look on your channel to see if you've done a video where you're headed to work and stuff, and then I'm like,
again, I may do something for the people tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. Now that we're doing this again. Trying to get stuff done. Phil goes, when did you open a pool? I mean, it's been open, but it's been kind of chilly. This week we're finally into the mid to high 90s, so it's heating up quick. So, we're getting stuff together.
So right now, right before we went on to this thing, I was clicking like crazy trying to get this chat going and stuff like that because it will not let me highlight. So I want to real quickly highlight the fact that Chris May sent over a $2 super chat. Hearts was fire on it. I really honestly appreciate that. And Haley with the 99-cent super chat. But
Thanks.
for not only with the super chat, but to be here on unpredictable times when we are. So I appreciate you putting the bell notification on, not forgetting to do what?
Ring that bell.
Yeah,
Football
exactly.
Fanatic. What's up, brother? How are you?
But
yeah, Phil doesn't have the chat I see on the screen.
Yeah, so I apologize on that. I don't know what happened there. I was trying different ways to get it going.
He's dumbing it down for us. It's like one of my streams.
I was like, you either get the graphics or you get the chat. You don't get both, okay? Like, it's either one or the other.
Pick it.
And speaking of picking one or the other, I think some of the trades going on in June June 1st with the post. Vinny Hagen with a $1.99, the $2 super chat. Because I round it up. I do that whole thing like the thing. Would you like to round it up? And I round it up and I say you have a $2 super chat. So I appreciate my cousin Vinny over here. Always there to call you by your government name. You know, that's Vinny right there.
Yes, Vincent. Yes. Philip Bryan. What's up, Vinny?
Exactly. Philip Bryan. There it is.
I'm going to hang out with Vinny. I told Vinny maybe I could, I don't know. I doubt that. But, maybe I could sneak Vinny and we can go to Mark's. How about that, Vinny? But that would be a long day, though. It's a 3-hour drive. Maybe I'll just come down and hang out with Vinny for a game or bring him here. Whatever, we'll figure it out. He's not too far from me, Phil.
Appreciate it, Vinny. Honestly, appreciate it, everybody in the chat. I know there's going to be some guys
right
that
around the corner.
Have been jumping on more recently, trying to find us in the replays. So we appreciate even the love on the replays as well too. But
CZ?
This overlay I made real quickly this morning. Just something I was like, I need something to kind of portray the line and what's going on there, and just get some football vibes going out there. I mean, this is probably the most football you're going to get for the next couple of months, other than getting some flashes of OTAs. How, when you saw the news and everything, obviously we're going to go into the June 1st, all that stuff before the OTAs, but have you heard anything that you like coming out of it? I know CeeDee Lamb made a couple of comments and everything, but have you heard anything or liked anything?
Yeah. Again, you have to take what they say with a grain of salt, but you have to also, this is how I do it, Phil, like I told you before, there's a small handful of guys that have eyes on the prize, that are there. And I'm going to watch and listen to them and what they say. And what we're hearing is Caleb Downs. You could tell, Phil, again, I know he hates it, but when you played the game at a high level, you could tell when somebody has
When
it.
I backed it up.
Right?
When I backed up into high level.
But you know what I mean. You could tell when you play with a teammate, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I
trust
made
me.
the story where my brother played against Mike Rozier in a high school all-star game, and Willie Flipper Anderson, and won. But you could tell that those guys were on a different level on the other team. Even though they were two professional, they went on to be professional athletes. You could tell.
And that goes
right?
beyond football, honestly. I mean, you've seen baseball players, basketball players, any of that kind of story. You're just like, wow, this guy's going to be something. And so when they hit it,
well,
you're
what
not
they
surprised.
said about Caleb, what they're saying is, or at least what the two different people, Broadus being one, said, what you see, even in simple drops, the way he said he's bigger than he thought, not taller, bigger.
Just thicker.
He's a stocky dude. But he said that his transition from back pedal he's very sticky. It seemed like every play that he was covering, whether it be in a slot or a tight end, he was all over them. Yeah. And just sticky.
I know those routes that he was having to run were particular
to go
ones.
to the ball.
Yeah. I mean, he's quick to understand.
What I'm saying.
He understands body movement as well too, so he anticipates very well.
Yeah.
Lead Commander, I laugh because that's exactly how training camp is. Everything's overblown and stuff like that.
Again,
but it's excitement. and that's good. It's good to have that
nobody
excitement
is
and
saying,
hype about it.
Yeah. All we're saying is, you could see when a player's not doing that, Lead Commander. That's all we're saying. We're not projecting him into the Hall of Fame. What we're saying is, okay.
No, he was talking about Christian Parker and stuff like that. But
okay.
But he just talked in general. You know how the media starts to blow all that up.
I know, but they weren't like complimentary of everybody. I'm only pointing out. Phil asked me the bright spots. You could tell why, just briefly in certain situations, why he is above a lot of people, just because of his transition, like his timing, just everything. And it's very exciting. That's just one of a few people that have shined so far. I get it, everybody, but they must be doing something, Phil, because we got players all around the league getting hurt, not to mention one in Philly where their first round wide receiver is out until at least the start of training camp with a muscle pull. So you can't say they're not doing nothing. They are doing something. You got the Giants, the New York Football Giants have lost 3 guys for the year already.
Yes,
3.
I remember seeing that.
So, obviously they're working. All we're saying, where's positives? Caleb Downs is a positive. And real quick, I know you have a laundry list of stuff to get to. Kobe Durant, I brought this up in a morning drive video, Phil. What are your thoughts on this? Kobe Durant, he did line up for 38 snaps all year in the slot. That was it. He was mainly outside, but they are bringing him in the slot to free up Caleb to actually play linebacker in certain situations. Probably the nickel, if I'm guessing, Phil. And let's face it, NFL plays nickel over 60% of the time, like 68% of the time you line up in nickel. That is your base defense. That's every NFL team. Your thoughts on Kobe Durant, Phil, playing the slot, at least early on, to see how he does, just to give you another option in certain situations, right? Hybrid, flex, multiple, right?
when you look at this defense in general, when I start to name off players on this list, I'm pretty sure you could put them at 2, maybe 3 different positions. And when you look at, Durant and his time, I think most of the time people think of him as an outside corner. Not seeing a whole lot of time that he was inside. I don't remember him a whole lot towards the end of the year or even in the playoffs where he was playing inside. And so that says a lot about how they felt about his outside game. But again, when you look at this defense and you look at this team in general, there has to be people that can do multiple things in this defense. You're not going to just be in a box and just be like, okay, well, this safety is just a safety. No, when you think about Locke and you think about Hooker and you think about Bell and all those, great safety room, but Jay Thompson and Caleb Downs, you kind of put in that same where they're a little bit stockier, but they're going to roam around, and they're not. When you look at Caleb Downs, he's not that free safety type of thing. He's a whole bunch of positions. So I think Durant, if you're putting him out there, you want to see what he can do in other positions, because I think if an offense lines up to not know guaranteed what's in front of you, oh well, Durant's always going to line up on this outside thing. That's a big key thing to put into a defense. I think, there's no guarantees that okay, well, this guy's going to play zone because that's all he plays. You want guys to be able to play different things. So if you have to switch out, all of a sudden there's motion. You have to switch over on the team. You know what to do. All of a sudden Durant's on one guy because it's man-to-man. There's a running back that runs out. All of a sudden he's that slot corner because there's somebody running out to cover the outside running back or whatever. So he's a slot. So there, again, when I talk about that, just needs to be able to do multiple things. Yes, Chris May, multiple nickel scheme. Oh, you're muted.
What's up, Rags? How are you, brother? New Jersey in the house. What's up, brother? Howie, what's going on, man? I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm muted because I was texting a couple people. Rags is in the house.
What's up,
but
Rags?
to Chris May's point, we line up, the NFL teams in general line up in nickel over 60% of the time. That is your base defense. Everybody gets carried away with, Dallas is running a 3-4. Okay. So we'll probably run a 3-4 in 28% of the time or something. It's most of the time you're a nickel, and I like this idea. Flexible. And what did we hear this week from CD? I know what everybody's going to say. He's a slot receiver. Well, I got the facts here, everybody, real quick, just for everybody in the cheap seats. I don't see him here right now, the king of the Eagle Trolls. CD lined up in the slot for 256 snaps last year. That accounted for 35% of the offensive snaps. So, again, that's just
the narrative.
Slot receiver, whatever. It is what it is. But
I always saw it as scheming open. You're scheming someone open.
Again, I don't have a problem with that. For my money, one of the best receivers in the NFL is a slot receiver right now. So if Mekhi Lemon projects out to be unbelievable, who gives if he lines up in the slot? But for fact basis, for factual information, he only lined up 35% of the time in the slot. But to CD's point, he said already he's frustrated. He's not even out of OTAs, Phil, and he's frustrated with Christian Parker's defense because he doesn't really know what's happening. He can't look at it and decipher. Now, it'll be interesting to see when we play a team like the Eagles who practice against that. Maybe they'll have an inside step. Maybe Christian Parker will have an advantage over them when it comes to scheming and I almost said Donovan, Jalen. But, he's already, CD already made a comment, Phil, at OTAs that he's frustrated with what he's seeing on that defense in a good way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, when you look back, I think it was kind of funny. I don't remember ever hearing any kind of comments about that or Eberflus's defense. I think by that point, it was very vanilla.
There you go.
The fact that you're automatically trying to, confuse people. Let's get real. Let's figure out if they're football smart. And I just really like the fact that you have some guys that can think and adjust. I think that was the biggest thing for the past couple of years, just there's no adjustments. Was there adjustments in halftime? No, the defense never adjusted in halftime. Football is all about adjustments, and if you can't do that, whether you're adjusting your scheme to the type of roster you have, adjusting your roster to the type of scheme you have, vice versa, whatever, in whatever category, I think there's always going to be stuff like that. So, I want to kind of talk about some of this June 1st thing, because I think these are big categories. We haven't been able to talk about it on this channel here. The first one I want to talk about, because I'm going to leave it in the NFC East, is, of course, A.J. Brown going to the Patriots. Something that we obviously talked about, until it actually happens. It's all talk. And you always heard rumors about, oh, he's over there looking for places and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. But when you look at the value and what they got, how do you value what the Patriots got, and how do you value the Eagles and what they received?
I think the Eagles did fine. I think the Eagles, again, as much as I hate admitting it, I would have tried to push for next year's pick just because. I think that's why the Eagles got a 5th. Also, that was a price to pay to do business for a 2028 one. I think the New England will take a step back this year. I don't know how much. Maybe it's not as much as I'm thinking, but I don't know.
Anything that's not Super Bowl, I think that's a step back, right?
Yeah, I don't know that they make the playoffs. That's just honest. I think they can, but they're right there, which means that could be a good pick. Whereas the following year, maybe it's not. I don't know. But A.J. Brown needed to go. And Howie Roseman, I think they traded a 1 and a 3 for him. And 5 years later, they got a 1 and a 5. That is getting value, everybody. That is getting absolute value. Again, you're not going to see that on many other
No, and I thought they did a great job. I think we pointed this out a couple of times, where the fact that you trade a 1st and a 3rd, and then you're renting him for how many years with the pay, and then you get him for 2 Super Bowls, and then you trade him back out and you get value back. You lose 2 rounds. I mean, that's awesome. I think anytime you can do something like that, it is amazing. And I look at the Patriots side, it's like that they needed a guy like that. I don't know, how he's going to be in the locker room and everything that he's kind of pushed. I don't think we heard too much things when he was in Tennessee, so it's going to be interesting to see how everything kind of unfolds. But I really like what they did in the sense of just going out and grabbing somebody. I think the same thing when we look at the Myles Garrett trade. All of a sudden, that one to me, obviously a shocker to me. I know you were talking about Myles Garrett definitely being traded. I think I put it in that same Micah Parsons thing,
because I got something to get off my chest. I haven't said nothing.
Oh, go ahead. Go to AJ Brown and move over.
I want to again, for the trolls that aren't here, Howie did absolutely fantastic in what and I told everybody, if he didn't get a 1, I would have liked it to been. Listen, I don't hate the Eagles. I don't root for them, but I don't have hate. That's not me. But I don't blame anybody else who hates them. Hate away. I think they got great value. But, isn't it funny, Phil, when a player leaves? And I've been saying this for a while that, I think the Eagles could have been more successful. I repeat, I think the Eagles could have been more successful last year. They had the talent to. I think it was a waste. I know Wade Kuiper would agree. Walker Wade. I compute last year's Eagle team like the 95 Dallas team. Maybe not as good, but where we were on the decline, but we were still far and away better. I think the Eagles, talent-wise, should have won more last year in the playoffs. But A.J. Brown, and now we see he leaves, right? And then we find out, we had heard rumors of it. There was a love triangle between A.J. Brown, okay? It's out there, just go do your homework. Between A.J. Brown and Hassan Reddick, they were both screwing around with a massage therapist. Yes, a massage therapist. And, I guess Hassan Reddick was
I guess the massage therapist moved on since Deshaun Watson wasn't available anymore.
Yeah. Hassan Reddick must have been the worst of the parties.
Yeah.
He was the worst of the part. Maybe he's the one. Maybe AJ and her had something, whatever. And then Hassan Reddick moved in on it. And supposedly, if you look it up, that AJ went to Jalen to have a side, and Jalen did not. Now, again, I'm not here to blame Jalen, but when we talk about culture, right? Listen, guys, the reason why the Eagles did not win last year was injury, but it was also a culture thing last year. Again, you're talking about culture central when you talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You talk about we can't get out of our own way when it comes to culture. Until now, Phil, and we could talk about it. The culture seems to be pretty darn good right now, but we have to see it actually during the season and football games. But I would say Eagles had the talent to win. Vegas thought they were good enough to win last year. A.J. Brown and Hassan Reddick and Jalen Hurts, and they, for whatever reason, they couldn't get along, and there was more to the story, and it's leaking out every day that they were a 7-point favorite in that game against the Bang Bang 49er gang, a beat up Bang Bang 49er team that went on and got mollywopped the following week. Man. It was a disappointing year for the Eagles. I know you won a division. Congrats. Cheers. What does that really mean, though? You know? So that's it. That's my bow on AJ. The hell with AJ. AJ can go lose with the New England Patriots. Eagles got good value. That's the bottom line.
When you look at it, when you look at this team, I don't think of it as a pass first type of team, and that's how it was kind of like lopsided.
Yes, Coyote, you're correct, sir. What's up, Curtis?
Everything to me says you should run the ball, whether it's options, whether it's obviously Barkley is your main featured back, and let your guys hit people downhill and not taking the hits as they come pass rushing. So to me, the identity is there, and so if you start to go down that hill, I don't think you're going to have that in the locker room where it's just going to be like, oh, I'm just disgruntled just because I didn't get my numbers even though we won. And, that to me, when I look at, I know with me as a 40-something-year-old, I kind of side more on the Jalen side because I'm like, I don't want to hear you shit. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. I'm over here trying to win. I'm over here trying to do my job. I don't need your drama kind of crap. And so if any of that stuff is true, like, I don't blame Jalen for causing that type of turmoil and stuff. But at the same time, it's, there's just people, there's just people that constantly just are talking, and they feel like if they talk first, everybody will side with them because, let's be real. A lot of times people take the first opinion, they kind of run with it as well too. So, with him, he's a very vocal guy, and he's quick to try to get people on his side. I mean, he's doing antics like reading a book on the sideline and everything. That Micah Parsons was doing stuff like that. So, teams don't need those type of distractions. And again, if you can get any kind of value for those type of people, oh man, that's an amazing thing. So I think they did an amazing job by getting that value, and now hopefully more of a run first and then your option pass. So
yeah. Lead Commander, what's up, brother? He goes, Prime in game. Mr. Holmes just put out a video that the Cowboys are now front runners to sign Brandon Ayuk. What y'all hearing, and is this a sign of a Pickens problem not showing up? Lead Commander, I didn't see that video. Did you watch it? Number one, because the headlines sometimes don't always add up to what's being talked about. No offense, I love Mark. He called me yesterday, but it
would make no sense to me. I mean, that's to me is one of
absolutely
your most stacked
not
positions.
Lead Commander.
Other than safety on the defensive side and maybe defensive interior.
Eagles, maybe.
I think the wide receiver on the offensive side is the better of the positions.
Yeah, well, you brought it up. You said, who's turning heads? Again, there's no Pickens involuntary. He already is on record, basically. Through the proper channels. He'll be there in June for the mandatory.
To me, the most...
when
don't
read the title,
division,
if
you're looking at the division, I would say the Commanders have the best chance.
Yeah,
if there was somebody.
Again, Ayuk... Dallas, Phil, they said that a bright spot was Ryan Flournoy.
Making moves. I mean,
looking real good. And I listen. He's had a good year, but they're saying who was flashing. We'll get to the seatbelt in a little bit, but they're saying Ryan Flournoy really is hitting his stride. And I think he may be a guy ultimately that maybe, Phil do so well that he's unkeepable, possibly, like a Cedric Wilson. I honestly believe that's where we're going with that. I love our receivers, Phil. I mean, I love our receiver room.
I think what's going to suck is that there's going to be somebody that's going to leave, that's going to go somewhere else that you're going to be a little bit heartbroken about because, we got some really good ones. And obviously, I'm not talking about Marquez Valdez-Scantling or anything like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking.
Oh, really?
I'm not. Yeah. Not to say that it's not a good veteran guy that knows how to line up and everything like that. So, Yeah, so when I look at the line, there's some pet cats that I have on there where it's gone Holden. I'm a big one. I want to see if he can do anything.
Anthony Smith.
Anthony Smith. That's a
name,
sleeper
baby.
right there, and that's a little bit of a shocking one to me. But hey,
listen, man.
I think that's a little bit.
Saying.
That's what it should be. The end of the draft should be a shocking one. And I'm like, wow, I never even saw it coming. This is what I was talking about going into the draft. Who are they going to pick that I never had my eyes on? That I'm going to be like, wow.
Look who we drafted late. Jimmy Smith. You remember? He didn't work out at Dallas. Look at the little guy, the
he
slot
went to Jacksonville, didn't he? Jimmy Smith, and then he blew
Jimmy
up
Smith's I don't know if he's Hall of Famer, but dude, is absolute stud. Who was Danny Amendola? Bang, he was a walk. How about Cole Beasley? He's another one, undrafted, right? Again, the Bees. He comes in and has a fantastic career. So
before,
I'm just saying.
Before all this June 1st, before all this June 1st stuff, who was your front runner in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl?
Before
this, when AJ was still on the Eagles and everything like that.
Like what are we talking? This offseason?
I'm just saying, when you're looking at, I'm not saying who did the best. I'm talking about when you're looking at all the NFC teams. Who do you have the better chance?
I'm not going to look at Vegas.
Rams, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm not going to look at Vegas. I was going to look at, if I'm being honest, before any of these trades, and let's say AJ was on the team, I'm saying, in no particular order, Seattle, Rams, Niners with a comeback year. I'm saying Chicago, Detroit. I have a good feeling about. I'm talking NFC, right?
Oh yeah.
Chicago, Detroit. I think Green Bay won't be as bad as people think, but they're not going to be. They're going to be on the playoff cusp, and that's probably maybe the Eagles. And if I was picking Super Bowl teams, like prior to all that, I would say those teams. Yeah. I'm not going to put Dallas in that.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm not thinking. I'm not trying to get you. I think
everybody
my biggest
wants
thing.
Me to. It's like why?
No.
Again, they have to prove it.
What I was trying to reach out of that was just really the Rams with the Rams and the move they did. They go out.
Right.
I was a big Jared Verse fan. Obviously, Florida State. As I watch him in Florida, get drafted. Does a good job. It starts to kind of slowly mature, get better as he plays through each game. When I look at the way that he, just how he even played in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, that was huge. Was he in there? I'm trying to think of it.
Well, did you hear his numbers though for the last 2 years? Did you hear me say that? I asked this question, Phil. Was I overrating Jared Verse? The Rams do not and will not ask Myles Garrett to worry that much about the run. They more are worried about him getting to the quarterback. Less run responsibility with the Rams just based on their scheme. Jared Verse had 6 sacks this year and 6 sacks his previous year. So I understand
not crazy,
sacks
huge numbers and everything.
It's less than I thought. Now, we all know he's a great player, so let's just get that out of the way. But when we talk about numbers and sacks only, now we can get into hurries and pressures and all that. But I'm just saying, how people like to bring up the sacks. Oh, you got.
When I look at it though, I think when you looked at Myles Garrett, he was a guy that was like you need a pass rush, and that's not something that they asked Jared Verse to do. You aren't just a pass rush. Well, you need to also basically command those sides and not be able to allow those running games to get outside. So I think there was a lot more responsibilities and not that just rush to the quarterback and we're good with that. So I think when I think the value that they got, the Browns, I got to give them credit. I mean, that is a really good. You trade off a 30-something-year-old guy that's occasionally been disgruntled, and I think you got really good value back. Obviously, it's going to depend on where they're finishing and everything, but to start building, I think they did a really good job. And again, I think the Rams, again, for being aggressive, great job for you doing that because. The way that they kind of put themselves, I think you pointed it out, and I think it's very, very true. The way they've drafted in the past couple of years just really allows them to do what they're doing.
Again, they don't care about first-round draft picks. Again, think about that, right? And I'm not here to hammer Dallas, but they're here to win, right? So
Keep talking. Hold on.
in the words of Wade Kuiper, F those picks. Real quick, Eagles, Drew's in the house. Garrett is playing a 3-4, and he is a 4-3 edge rusher. Yeah, the bottom line is, Drew, he will go off with the Rams with how their scheme is. And if Aaron Donald does indeed come back, everybody goes, he's shot. They could only help in a rotational role, probably more of an impact than what Brandon Graham had for the Eagles at this point. And now I do believe Brandon is probably done. I know the Eagles did a transaction where they let go Brandon Graham. I think he's done, but don't count Brandon Graham possibly coming back. But Phil, my question to you is, Eagles Drew said he's a 3-4 edge rusher playing in a 4-3 scheme. Will that hamper Myles Garrett and his numbers?
I know. I
Exactly.
think he's one of those guys. You just line him up. You can put him in a
make
Red
more
Rover,
sacks. How's that?
send somebody right over, and he's still going to go through there and get his sack numbers. I think it doesn't matter what he's doing on that outside. It's not the safety or something, you know.
What's good for us, Drew, and what's good for the Eagles is good for the Rams. Most teams line up in nickel over 60% of the time. So
I think
and
he just has that
60%
body
of the time
frame.
He's going to be in nickel.
Now,
which
whether
is gonna be
he's going to be able to last
normal
throughout the
run.
whole season, I think that's going to be a little different because, you know,
Well-
how many postseasons has he played that he hasn't been conditioned to play like that, you know? Just saying.
I'm
He
on
could be
record.
Marcus Lawrence and be like, I'm tired, but no.
I'm on record as saying you don't have to win a Super Bowl with an elite edge rusher like
No.
Myles Garrett.
No.
It helps.
It definitely helps. I mean, it makes you feel better, and, you know, when a play needs to be
It
made.
makes you sleep better, but exactly. Just like winning a Super Bowl in recent history, there hasn't been a Myles Garrett on the other side. There's
Well, it's
been
like when
the
you
Josh
talk about that,
Sweats. There's been the Marcus Lawrence, who had a big time rotation last year. He wasn't an every down player, you know. That's where I love where our team's going, Phil. We have so many young bodies, and if they hit, you don't have to say all of them hit, but if we can get Malachi Lawrence and Ezeraku coming back, that's going to be a fantastic role when you have the pros like Rashawn Gary, who's already there. You know what you're going to get from him. So I'm excited about the defense. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Phil's doing some stuff.
Hold on, I'm trying to switch some stuff here.
Green Bay Packer, they won't have Micah week 1.
It'll be a
Aiden,
week, some weeks, yeah.
he ain't going to be back for a while. I hope he's back for us, though. We played him last year. He couldn't beat us. We're going to win in Lambeau this year. October 20th, the Green Bay's taking an L. Barring any major injury to somebody's quarterback, Green Bay's taking an L that week. So you can put that down, Sledhead. I don't see you in here, but
Totally understandable, Drew. Yeah, he's like, we own the Rams. We have two of the best tackles. Yeah, and I mean, they didn't have Myles
again,
Garrett
that don't
before.
mean much, though.
And we always, but I understand that. I mean, the Rams.
That's nice. I did a video about that, Phil.
The 49ers always had
I already said if I go to the Super Bowl and I have to lose twice to the Eagles, hey, give me the 2 L's. It doesn't always equate. Back in the 90s, Eagles were kicking Dallas's ass while we were winning Super Bowls. So it doesn't matter that you beat a particular team. What matters is, unless you play that team in the playoffs at
good.
home.
I mean, you get confidence going in there. At least you know that we can't beat the team.
Well, that's great to have confidence, but it ultimately doesn't mean shit, is what I'm saying. You could beat up on the Rams, and the Rams still win a Super Bowl. Remember '95? They stopped them again!
Well, it's like
they stopped you. You stopped Emmett 4 times. And then we won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter. It don't matter.
So anyway, so when you look at that, I was looking at it with the Myles Garrett, obviously with the Browns. I think the Browns did a great job in the sense of getting Verse, just because from what you hear, Rams did not want to put, throw that in there, but they wanted a pass rusher, a young pass rusher. To kind of at least build some stuff off of. I think that was a very smart move. At least you got something right away to kind of help replace Garrett. Not that you're going to just be that presence, and he's going to be that presence in the locker room. But at least you have a guy that fans can get excited about, and it's like, well, it's not Myles Garrett, but at least we have somebody there and the potential all those first-round draft picks. So, Bryan, how would you grade those guys? And not to say now. I'm just talking about now, not future. What do you think is going to end up happening? Who do you think is going to? I hate the whole thing where like, who do you think won it? Who did? You know, sometimes both teams can win. So no. Just with the Myles Garrett and the Rams. Do you think
who
both
won
of them
that?
did a good job? I don't know who won it, but who would you give them both?
The
good
Rams
grades?
won that trade. They got an unbelievable player, only gave up 1 first-round pick, and Jared Verse, who they were going to have to pay. Myles Garrett is going to set the all-time sack record. Bruce Smith, his 200 sacks are going to be gone. Okay, I believe that's who has it, right? Or is that Bruce Smith? Or is it? I thought it was Strahan, but anyway, somebody's a 200 sack record is going to go down.
I think it's Strahan.
Myles Garrett is an unbelievable player. That helped out them so much, and they only had to give up 1 first-round pick and Jared Verse. But I mean, the Rams are that much better. But
Yeah, it's
I'm
Bruce
not
Smith,
worried
too.
about it. And if I'm an Eagle, I wouldn't be worried about it because it's all about the quarterback. If Matt Stafford gets hurt, you're cooked. That's the bottom line. If Matt Stafford gets hurt,
What are you talking
they're
about?
cooked. So,
They got Ty Simpson.
yeah, okay.
I mean, that's why they
but
went for
yeah,
it, right?
so-
They went,
Again,
I think it
I'll
was a great
say it
move.
again.
I obviously, when you look at it right off the
I
bat,
love the
if you were to
move.
go
Love it.
comparing, I think the Rams got more out of it. But
Eagles went after him too.
if you go and get some really quality players, hey, it could be. It's not going to be another Myles Garrett. Let's just be real, man. You're not going to replace him,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, one of those picks becomes him. We know very strongly about that. That's just not how the way it works. You need to kind of. The pros and cons. Do we want to stop the run and have a guy that can, if we have the lead, that he's going to be able to stand up. So pros and cons. That's just how that unfortunately is, and that's even with the AJ. I think your pros and cons. He goes off, and you don't have as a strong presence when it comes to that third down. We really need it. Let me toss it down the field, and some of those catches he was making. So that incredible by him, but at the same time, you don't have that nagging in the corner of your ear, and we all understand when you don't have that, how much more relaxed you can be in the moment. So it's very interesting to see where all this NFL season goes, because again, right before you even hit training camp, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to look out for in this NFL season. Is this stuff that's going to matter in a couple of years? Are we going to remember that there was all this drama and everything? And, I'm pretty sure the other team's not going to allow you to forget it. But anyways,
I
Bryan.
just find it funny.
Yeah.
I just find it funny that we have another massage therapist issue. It's like didn't we get enough of that with
well, what do you
Deshaun
think?
Watson?
Well,
I
as
mean,
you're
give me
talking
a
about,
break.
that, with you haven't we having enough about that? What about all this domestic violent type of situations that are happening? Obviously all of it's alleged until obviously proven guilty, and I will always say that. Because sometimes that other person can be crazy as well too. So, but again, you don't have nothing to do. I'm not really sure what's going on here.
Listen, man, we all make mistakes, but they have the rookie symposium when you're drafted into the league, right? All the rookies are mandated to go. They bring in players who've lost it all. They bring in players who, basically tell you that the average lifespan of an NFL player, and it's just amazing that they all have agents, Phil. 99% of these players, 98% have agents.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would think that they would be prepared, like you see guys who just keep putting money away and not spending money.
Yes.
And you say, oh, that athlete's cheap. That athlete is being smart. I think we all know, we've all been here where you get a chunk of money, right? And the older you get, the more smarter you get. That, like, when you say $20,000 to somebody, go, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But the real ones know $20,000 is a fart and a sandwich away from being gone, right? It goes quickly. So these NFL players, it's amazing. And then to put in, all of a sudden everybody's your friend. You make it into the NFL. You start reading your own headlines, and they start hitting women. Because women want to show up all of a sudden, right? And I'm not here to blame women, but listen, that's just the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
Like, Phil, they tell you if you win the lottery, try and stay anonymous because all your friends will come out of the woodwork and say, hey, buddy, how you been? I really have this. Oh, man, I know I don't hate to do it, but no, you can't do it. And time and time again, we see Rashee Rice violate his probation order. He violated it because he popped for a drug thing.
Yeah.
So it's dumbfounding, but not surprising in this day and age. That I know it's a long-winded answer, but your thought.
There's a lot of
there's a lot of
controversy.
It's going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
Henry Ruggs is going to try and be reinstated, and he killed a young lady and her dog.
Yeah.
Because he was driving 100 and whatever in Vegas and smacked into her racing. I don't know. And then we see other players go out driving 100. So it's like,
you good?
I'm sorry, brother.
No, it's understandable, man. It's like you, as a dad, since you part of it, you're just like, not learning your lesson. You're not, and then you have to, something really extremely bad has to happen in order for you to learn your lesson. I think that's never, that's never fun to watch, especially if you're giving somebody advice. And those agents are definitely giving these kids advice. And so, just because you get the money doesn't mean you can act right. And I think we're definitely seeing some of the aftermath of that. I remember hearing a comedian turn around and talk about the violence that the NFL players have. And it's like when I see those headlines in the news, all I think is football player does football at wrong time. Like what's
up, George?
It's funny, but at the same time, it's unfortunately, you can't control your emotions, and just. These are the kind of guy. These are the type of guys that get those extra flags on the field and everything. So it's just, again, improve until everything is there. Because obviously, I know on the other side, there can be some really crazy ones accusing you stuff. Hey, if you don't do this, I'm going to accuse you of that. And so obviously, you have to wait till the story comes out. For one story, two story, then of course the third story, which is the truth. But NFL stories as they come along, unfortunately, those are the bad parts of those things, those DUIs, those being pulled over by the cops, the domestic violence. But the positives, people are getting paid negatively for us. But I saw 2 wide receivers obviously get extensions. People automatically think, George Pickens. Obviously that's stuff
for 2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years, and I agree with you on that one, and I think that's just as far as it's going. So
that's the bottom line, people. Dallas didn't make the rules. He's gonna have another good year. You bring up George Pickens, Phil, and his agent is telling him the same thing we're telling him. Everybody's looking for you to not show up. Mm-hmm. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna show up.
Yep.
And maybe he's traded after this year with a year left of eligibility. Maybe that's the case. But he gonna ball out this year. You can bet your ass he gonna ball out. So you can sit there and hope for bullshit. He gonna play, and he gonna play good. So get ready for it. Whether that's enough or what that means, I don't know. He's gonna have a hell of a year. And so will that offense.
Yeah, exactly, Jimbo. I honestly believe that as well too. So I think it's in his best interest because he's a very young guy. So he still has a paycheck, even after that next franchise tag. He still has a paycheck coming up that he's right now. Even this year with that franchise tag, isn't that like 3 to 4 times more than what he was getting paid per year? So that was a huge jump for him. So signing that franchise tag, obviously, it's not a securedness for your future. But when it comes to getting paid, getting paid 4 times the amount that you were getting paid the previous year, I think anybody can kind of jump on that. But, you got to be on your best behavior. You got to come to the mandatory camps. Right now, it does good when those mandatory camps come to not go there, because what are you doing? You're just hurting yourself more than anything else. They can't negotiate, and none of that stuff is any possible. So the next franchise tag is going to be 60. That's how it's going to eventually be, man. By how they're pushing and pushing and pushing.
Out, George. I'll check it out. Howie, the next franchise tag for George Pickens is 34 million.
32, 34. So it ends up
something like that. I thought it was 34.
I think it's
Howie, what that means is for the final 2 years, it'll be an average. It'll be a 60 million. What's
Mark
up, farm boy? What's
Hudson,
up, brother?
Just because with a $5 super chat, I wish I could place it here and let everybody see it. So
I wish I could
apologize
put
that
you in the hopper for the jersey, but that's enough. That's a different channel.
Oh man, listen to him. He's gonna punish you for coming on here and giving me money. He's like, how
Well,
dare you?
no. I'm just saying, if Phil ain't giving me $5 towards the shipping and $200.
I also
for the
don't have a
jersey.
membership either, so because I can't bring it like Game Time Bryan over here with his
Well, I have to get a certain amount, or else I'm taking an L. So we'll see. League commander, I'm pretty sure the Cowboys offense will not put up the numbers and be explosive as it was last year. I have NFL history on my side. League commander, they could be a lot better. They weren't number one in the league. I think they will put up numbers, but to your point, I think in reality the defense will be a lot better. So they'll get shorter fields.
Well, I mean, you're not.
They won't be down.
Well, think about when they were getting scored. They were getting scored by large, huge,
Did
long
you see
plays,
that stat?
and so the offense was getting
Dallas
it right
gave
back
up-
again.
Dallas gave up an average of 3 points per possession for the whole year. Think about that.
I'm not really surprised.
Every time the other team got the ball, it was 3 points. Dallas also led the league in 30-plus yards in chunk plays. That defense was dysfunctional. Most of those players are gone. Christian Parker's working with a clean slate with a new system. We're very excited. We're very, very excited about what's happening.
Tough to get hyped on too, especially if
again,
you're
we're
a
not
fan.
going to allow a couple trolls to sidetrack. We're going to roll right over them, and then I'm going to put it in reverse and run it back over because it's bullshit. Again, he missed the part where we talked about culture last year, and that Eagles had a great team and should have won that playoff game. But because of all the bullshit that was going on behind the scenes, that led in large part with the whole massage thing. Again, A.J. Brown being a dick. So let's not. But the Coyote,
Well, if all that
we
was
gave
true, I
over
mean, I
500 points. Yes.
Oh my God, that is ridiculous. But when you look at that, I mean, the fact that if that was all truly happening, yeah, you got to give that coach a little bit more credit in the sense of keeping what was there together as much as it was. I mean, there was obviously things that are going to get leaked, but yeah, I think it could have been a lot worse. I mean, we've seen some blow-ups on the sideline between quarterbacks and wide receivers. So I don't think to me that it ever got to that kind of extent. So I got to give them credit at least keeping it together. I think both of them can kind of walk away and kind of have reasonable careers. So Bryan, when as we go into the training camp, the summertime, the OTAs, mandatory OTAs, is there a certain position that you're looking at with a little bit more microscope type of, hey, what is going to happen here? There's some that you may not worry about, but is there one in particular that you're like, look, man, I need to know?
Corner for me.
Corner.
It's corner. I'm looking at Savon Ravel. We're obviously Deron Bland. They're both going to be ready for day one of training camp. They're being very extra cautious with OTAs. Everybody's worried about linebacker. We have a lot of bodies. D. Winters is there with Overshown right now. We got young Jay Sean Barham. It's all about the corners for me and how Savon Ravel looks, right? And you brought it up, so we're going to go there. The human seatbelt is looking good so far. So, again, we'll see. You got Kobe Durant lining up in the slot. He lined up in the slot less than 50 times last year, all year. He was basically an outside guy. But if he can play and give us some slot help, and a friend of the show, hopefully we get him after this mandatory minicamp. I was thinking
friend
about
of one of our kids, kind of thing. Yeah, but
No, he's
hopefully
a friend
we're
of
trying
Phil's.
we're trying to get him.
He's
to
a
be
very
friend of the
close
show.
friend of Primetime Phil.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Devin
like,
Moore.
Phil, who the hell is that?
Devin Moore looks the part, albeit in
for being as and I think that's the first thing that
6'3"?
people talk about, how they talk about his size and this
Yes.
being able to move,
Friend of the show.
switch his hips. One thing when it comes to Naples High School, they are a championship football team, whether it's kind of high school. Definitely high. Those type of coaches were very quick. That defense is usually something to be very proud of. The corners are something that Yeah, they definitely get recruited. So the fact that he went to Florida, I think that was amazing. Obviously, didn't have the Florida Gators championship type of years that they used to have. Whether it was Tebow, whether it was the Steve Spurrier type of days, yes, that made me throw up a little bit in my mouth. But to kind of transition, and to kind of really quickly be showing it on the field in the sense of switching hips, everything, that's all you can really ask for, whether he's going to be healthy and be able to endure a regular NFL season, especially as a rookie, being able to hit guys, let's just be real, that are going to be some huge guys, whether it's the running backs coming through, whether he's going to have to tackle. There's going to be a lot of there. So there's going to be a lot of ifs going forward, because even a guy like Overshown that is stacked and is really, really powerful, but we all know about that durability. So I think that's always going to be the question lingering. Anything that happens little, people are going to be quick to jump on it, but if he can outshine it, I think it's going to be on the field in this play.
Again, that's a good situation to be in. Again, it's a good situation to be in. Final year of a deal. David Mulligetta, even if he's gone after this year, if he gets hurt, then you're going to get him back on the Chiefs next year, if you even want him. If he balls out, which is what they're expecting, then you have an option. I see more of a chance of D. Winters staying and him leaving because of the agent, and that's fine too. It is what it is. Linebackers are the easiest pieces, especially when you have a young Jay-Sean Barham who looks the part. I can't wait till pads come on. I can't wait till we play games, because all the talk will be stepped aside. Then we're gonna see. But Jay-Sean Barham looks like an absolute steal for where they got him, albeit with shirts and t-shirts and shorts. You know what I mean? That's all we can go by.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of times too. I mean, you want to get out there to see how people are moving. Is it fluent? Is it kind of with a little bit of a hitch in their step? Are they favoring something? I think those are always going to be quick reactions to when the ball is thrown. Are they going in quickly? Is it taking a couple of steps for them to go and make that move in a change of direction? I think those are all questions that if you're watching, that's what you're watching. You're not, so-and-so scored a touchdown. It's like, well, I want to know what happened to defense. Was it because somebody tripped? What happened that caused that touchdown to happen? So, the offense scored through it. Was it because their wide receiver fell down, or was it because he didn't understand the play?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that go into every single thing, and you just can't get hyped about what's happening in the play. You have to look at those little small things. I mean, when you look at the joint practices that are going to happen, those are always great to have, because obviously you only get to a certain point where you're hitting each other. You get those fights going on as well too. The fact that you can hit somebody else. Dude, I'm interested to see how our tackles do against Myles Garrett and those type of guys if he's obviously practicing. So I want to see how they hold up, because that's the question mark when I look at our offense. That's the biggest question mark, is our tackles and the availability in some of them. Whether he's going to be able to have a good year in the sense of steal, or is it, are we that whole drop of
We had the best offensive line in the NFC East last year.
You want poke right there, huh?
Well, I'm just saying, we did. And I think that if we can stay healthy, it can only get better. It wasn't the best, but I mean, it was a revolving door at left tackle, and we still got the job done.
Well, speaking of left tackle, go ahead. I want you to continue, and then we'll go back to left tackle.
Oh, no, I just think now we hear that there's and I like it. I think it's Guyton's job to lose.
Boom! Thank you. That's what I was going to ask you, and that's what I wanted to be like. It's guys, like, as much as the belt is over here, like, well, I think it's an open thing. If you had to line up right now, he would be the guy that went out there and lined up. So it's like, don't tell me open competition. Just because you want to light a fire under somebody's ass and everything, that's a little different. But hey, this is your job to lose. Basically, is really what the headline really should be, and that's how it is. I mean, that's the NFL. This is your job until it loses. I mean, we've seen quarterbacks like Bledsoe have a nice little job, and then all of a sudden something happens, whether it's an injury, whether it's throwing interceptions against the New York Giants, and then the backup comes in and becomes that franchise quarterback. I think that happened to him twice. I think that by that point you're doing that whole bad luck Chuck kind of thing, where you're just like, hey, I just need to get you to get to the next person. But Randy McIntyre says we're winning the East this year with a $2 super chat.
Very good opportunity, Randy. Very good opportunity this year.
I appreciate the support. Thank you. And again, I apologize, and I'm going to keep saying it each time it happens. I apologize they can't feature it on here as well too. So, but
There it was. Glory hole.
I know there's some people that don't want to hear that, but I think that goes for a lot of the teams in the NFC East. Eagles. You know,
Washington could win it too. League Commander.
Yes, Washington. I think the Giants. I mean, the Giants
Louis
have
T
as well.
got me all worked up.
As long as your
man.
quarterback
I'm
stays
scared.
healthy, I think that stays. He definitely makes them a legit contender. Now, whether it kind of jump starts them or back, basically goes and picks better. I think the New York Giants did this before, where they did so well that now they were picking at the back of the first instead of in the front, where they were kind of building their team. They ended up having a bad year. They went right back to that and got really good players to really kind of start building the meat and potatoes of that team. So again, if they start winning it out of nowhere, I wouldn't be surprised as well too. I think that's how the teams all got better. And I think even Washington, you got to kind of add in there because they did get younger at certain positions, and they did add some people that you wouldn't think automatically. They just all you can do is try to replace those guys, and that's what they went out and did.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Guyton's, I see League Commander saying Guyton shows no signs of life. Again, we've won with Guyton. We've beaten. He's gone up against Myles Garrett, and
he was doing really well last year until he got hurt.
His problem is staying healthy.
Yeah.
Nate Thomas, who we all love and still do,
but he has
is a mammoth of a man. Walker Wade, Eagles top 10 offense this year. Drew, delusional. Yeah, I think we all know that, Wade. There's no way they're going to be even close to top 10. But again, he can think about whatever he wants. We know that. You just lost AJ. So you got crazy eyes out until training camp. You got a bunch of midgets running wide receivers for the Eagles. And if you're going to say your defense will be top 10, fine. I can believe it. Sure. Settle down a little bit about that offense. But anyway, back to Cowboys. Because this is a Cowboys channel. You want to go talk about the Eagles go...
Well, I think here.
Go hang out with Hamid and do the old circle jerk. Oh, sorry,
what I like the potential here is that so you got Guyton. Obviously, your backup, all the way to the end is Tyler Smith. That last resort thing, where you push him out and everything, and we all understand that that's always a possibility. But what I do like is the fact that Guyton, you're talking about Nate Thomas, where that was always a possibility. The right tackle. All of a sudden, we're going to try him at left tackle. They really, really liked how he played. He went in there for a couple of games, played well, and then there were some games, of course, that he didn't look so well, wasn't doing great on the switch offs, picking on those stunts as well too. So you did see him struggle, but I mean that's how the NFL rookie, those things happen. When you look at what they picked up, Drew Shelton, right? In the sense of we drafted
a left tackle as well for the future.
And so when I look at both of those guys, I look at them as both being able to do a swing position. Whether you got them specifically for one particular spot, but in an emergency they could switch over to the other side. We've seen Nate Thomas, obviously at the left tackle, plays better, but he can switch over to the right tackle position in an emergency to do that. I think you're going to have that same thing with a Drew Shelton, and I think that's what you can ask for. That's all you can ask for, is that you specialize in this, but you're capable of playing the other side in case we need that.
Very athletic, Drew Shelton. I think he needs a year.
Yeah,
I do think he needs a year.
So, yeah.
So I think it's a perfect situation for Drew Shelton. My question is, what do they always say, Phil? Competition. Even when you have somebody, it's always good to have that next guy. And that's what we have at left tackle. We have a serious competition, which should elevate Tyler Guyton. Tyler Guyton does things that men his size just don't do. The way he moves, he just... he's getting better physically. I'll tell you what I thought was interesting is they said that Tyler Smith's build has changed this offseason. They were talking about it. They said he has more of a tackle build than ever before. We know he doesn't want to play tackle, but in case of emergency break glass, he's very good. He can play tackle.
Yeah.
But what's your thought on that? Since we're talking O-line, I know you want to play your best five. God forbid injury. To me, that's the only way Tyler Smith's playing left tackle is injury.
Injuries.
But
yeah.
he's finally. But they're saying that his transformation, he's always been solid, but he's just so defined now, which I don't know is good or bad. To be honest with you, I don't know. For a guard, you want him to be fat, don't you? I mean, I don't. I mean,
it depends on what kind of offense you're running. If you're having him run and swing out of the back, out of the line, and kind of just for sweeps and things like that, then yeah, I think you kind of need him to be in the sense of the more agile and not as stalky.
Right.
But yeah, if you're going to push forward, I think you're right there. I mean, you need to be as bulky as you possibly can. I think you see a lot of that when you see NFL centers or defensive linemen, offensive linemen. As soon as they get out of the NFL, all of a sudden they're like a little bit more thinner, you know. I don't know whether it's because the pads are off, but yeah, they just tend to you know, they're not eating all that junk that they were eating in the NFL to keep that bulk going. So I just like the fact that we have a returning line with everybody that's been there. I keep seeing improvements of those, whether it's a Booker, and that was a great one. To kind of you mirror what you have in Tyler Smith on the other side.
Lombardi called that one. We have to keep it real.
Yeah,
Voch called it
like wrestling a bear in a phone booth, right? Like that's how his analogy is.
Tyler Booker was a fantastic pick yet again. Offensive line in Dallas in the first round, which is why.
And I would have picked wide receiver,
right?
On
Tyler Guyton.
I would have probably picked a wide receiver in Buka,
again,
you know.
Yeah, but at that point we didn't have. Just remember when we drafted Tyler Booker, Phil, we did not have George Pickens. We didn't. Get him till after the draft last year. So we were all kind of down. Remember, we were talking about that Matthew Golden.
Yes, I remember that.
We were all talking about Matthew Golden. Now all of a sudden, the Green Bay's hyping up Matthew Golden because they need Matthew Golden. Green Bay has been decimated. You were talking about Brandon Ayuk. That's who should be going after Brandon Ayuk. Is the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I still see guys like Tyreek Hill and everything like that are there that I'm very surprised. You know, like Odell gets signed by the Giants. I think I was like,
Tyreek's injury was devastating. Though.
That was that. Trust me, that was kind of hard to watch. So I'm not sure where he's at, but you know, when I see those type of guys that are still out there, yeah, I'm just curious. But you know, I know he had a really really serious injury, and you know, I know his age. Maybe now they're making him babysit all those kids as well too. So since you home, you know you can babysit. And
yeah,
I gotta get back to the NFL. I'm gonna be playing Canadian ball by the time you know it. So, anyways, a lot of NFL movements, a lot of obviously news in the sense of just. Yeah, whether it's good or bad, unfortunately, there is some news in the NFL, bad news right now in the sense of all those domestic violence stuff, the just getting in trouble with the law, getting pulled over and stuff. Just I think camp, the nice thing about camp right now, it gives them something to do. And so it doesn't, they don't give them that free time to go off and mess up their lives. And I think, it's just hard to watch it, because it feels like it's a story that keeps repeating itself, didn't I see this episode already? So Haley says with the $5 super chat, having to give Drew a pass, he put too much sugar in his Kool-Aid again.
Hallie. That's funny. That is funny.
So Brian, anything?
He's allowed to be happy. Just he's not gonna.
Yeah, but he's allowed to be happy, but we're not allowed to be happy. That's what I'm saying. That's the only trade-off.
No, I'm gonna be happy. That's the thing. I'm not gonna have it. So he can be happy.
That's what I'm saying. It does not bother me that he's being like that, just because it's like.
But I'm gonna be happy too. So that's how it rolls. That's how it works here. Other channels, maybe not, but.
So I heard, I saw an article, and I thought it was like something on the new, like I think it was a YouTube thing, it was an interview. I think it was one of those Downs and Downs type of whole thing where they were talking to him about the number 13, Caleb Downs, and I like what his mom said. I think mom's with Cowboy Nation in the sense that she said, and I mean, you got to put Dan Marino off to the side on this, but she goes, I've never knew an important player that was number 13. So it's just a forgettable player is normally the number 13.
I was watching the St. Brown's Brothers podcast.
Yeah, Brown.
And they had Caleb Downs. It was Amon Ra and Equiminius.
Okay.
St. Brown, they had Caleb Downs on the rookie event, I guess, out wherever they had it, the rookie symposium, whatever. And they brought him on, and he told everybody, they were talking about the numbers, and he said he would hold off. He said, I don't care if you buy the 13 because it's less jerseys I got to buy, but they haven't printed many. He wants 2. He's going to go to 2 at some point. But I'm a little annoyed.
And that's when you get my sale.
And he's like, I have to buy up the stock, so I don't care if you buy 13s. But he basically told you he wants number 2. And again, I don't understand Dallas just not telling Kobe Durant, we're not giving you 2. You're a 1-year deal guy who has to prove it to stay.
When he came in, he obviously he had already picked it, and
I know
they didn't really think they were going to
bullshit.
They weren't going to hold it. So I mean, to me, I think you
so
might have to wait.
Give it to now, but we might take it away.
Whether they switch right before the season or anything, because honestly, I see Durant possibly here for 2 years, unless he does a Murray thing where it just does not look good at all.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that 13 might stick around a little bit. Is he going to do the thing where he does? Who was it that was 13, then went to 18? What was that linebacker? Jabril Cox. I think like 13 went to 18. I can't even remember how that went. But those are those numbers where I'm just like, man, you could have done so much better, like with something. Even switching it around. 31. Was there a 31 on this team? Oh, he's watching something. Brian's watching something. He's.
I'm sorry. I was talking to somebody. I'm sorry. What were you asking me? I'm sorry.
No. I'm just talking about the numbers, man. Just to me, I think Durant's going to be here for at least a couple of years. It's 2 years, and so I think it's going to be some time.
We'll see. If he has a good year, he's going to require a big contract. That's why I would think.
No, that's true.
He's only on a 1-year deal. It's not a big deal. I mean, 13 is fine for now. It's just he even said not to get used to it. So it is what it is.
Probably after the preseason. It could be something right after the preseason. Something happens as well too.
Yeah.
Because Durant could get a number available that he likes. Okay, hold on.
What's up,
let's
Joe?
look at. Let's see, what was it? Let's see.
Well, I'm sorry. Would you ask me, brother?
I'm sorry. College. I'm looking to see what was his. Do you know what his college number was?
Number 2. Who's that?
Durant.
Oh no, I could find out.
I'm just trying to see if maybe there's a number that he's there. He wore number 14.
Okay, there you go.
So is there a 14? Is that Bell?
I don't even know.
I think Bell changed.
Be.
I think Bell changed his numbers though. So I'm sorry, guys. I know we're doing this all live. Cowboys.
Oh, fuck it.
Roster numbers. I'm just trying to figure this out here, just because maybe there's a little bit more to it than we think.
Marquise Bell.
So yeah,
Marquise Bell wears 14. Yep. Good call, Phil. Prime time with the grab. So yeah.
So I mean, you never know.
Marquez
Bell
might not be on the team. So
could
we'll
not
see.
be on the team. There's a good possibility. If you look at any of the safeties being dropped, who would you pick? Malik Hooker probably.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. Again, Christian Parker, new defense. Anybody that was on the team prior to him, and Jay Tuia, Marquise Bell, Maris Leofau, Sam Williams. They're all fighting for jobs. Mm-hmm. So Kalen Carson, who again has been shining early on. So he has a lot to prove. Here's a question for you. Here's a good poll question. I'm curious of Primetime's opinion. I'm going to give you choices, and you tell me who you think has the most to prove on defense. So we'll do it we don't need to really do it on offense too much because we know it's the offensive line and Guyton. But if you had to say who has the most to prove and who has the most pressure on their shoulders, I'm going to say DeMarvin Overshown. I'm going to say Kalen Carson. I'm going to say Savon Ravel. If you out of those three, who has the most to prove?
Okay, I would say Guyton. I would probably say Guyton the most.
No, I said those 3 defensive players. I didn't say Guyton.
Oh,
I'm saying defense only.
I'm sorry.
If
Who
it
was the
was-
first one you picked? Because you picked
I
2
know
corners.
you weren't
Who
paying
was it?
attention either. If it was Kalen Carson,
Kalen Carson. Yeah.
Savon
I
Ravel,
got the 2
DeMarvin
corners.
Overshown.
Overshown. That was the other one myself. Okay.
So if
Man, those 3.
well,
I
they
would
all
say
have
Carson.
something to prove.
I would say Carson would probably be the guy out of everybody. I mean, Overshown, you just don't you don't re-sign him or you sign him for a bigger contract. It's like there's a whole lot. I think that everything kind of like irons out very well on that. You know, depending on his availability, what the NFL is willing to pay for him. Is it going to be like a Sam Williams type of situation? I'd imagine somebody would go over there and try to snatch him up, even with those injury history. So when I look at that, I don't think that will matter too much, and not in the sense that it won't be affected. But when I look at possibility of somebody not being here, even by the end of the training camp, I would put it more on Carson than all those the other 2. You know, I could see Carson being cut before training camp even ends.
Well,
you know?
most to prove, I think it comes down to Carson and Overshown because Savon Ravel, we all knew he was hurt going into last year, so it wasn't like, yeah, he has a lot to prove, but he still has years on his contract. Blue chip athlete, okay. So if he has an average year, it won't be the work. He needs to stay healthy and have a average year. Anything more than that, watch out. You know, that's exciting. Overshown has a lot to prove. Why? He's fighting for a contract. Hasn't really stayed healthy and played a full year of games. But I kind of agree with Kalen Carson. That's why I brought him up. He seems to be having he's been doing everything that the CP wants and has excelled in it early on without pads as much as you. But again, I go back to it, Phil. They're working their butts off because look what's going on in New York with all the injuries. Look at Philly, lost their receiver. You know,
when you're looking
they're
into
obviously these teams are working. Let's not act like shorts and t-shirts. Sometimes they do too much, right, Phil?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would probably agree. I mean, when you're going into this training camp right now, in general, you got 10 corners as you're going into it. I think is there a possibility they're trying to make a change? They're trying to see what kind of playmakers they possibly have. I think there's guys, you know, where he talks about Carson, he talks about Ravel. I think even with those possible injuries, you're shoving them here, shoving them there on the injury reserved, all that kind of stuff. I'm really kind of looking at that whole cornerback room and kind of like eyeballing Bland a little bit, just because like right now you're the guy that needs to be the man in that locker room, and we're talking about your feet. You know, we're talking about your feet, and you're having other surgeries and availability, and I think that he has a lot to prove as well too, because if you're not being a leader in the locker room or any of that stuff, I think you don't hear about him being that vocal guy as well too. I mean, you hear about the sides of the sounds from the sideline, and I think you're like, okay, you know, there's something there. But again, he's not normally that vocal guy. I think, you know, you're going to have those guys in the secondary like a Downs, but you're going to have also a lot of guys that are going to get cut way before that. You got Bridges, you got Butler, you got I like Childress. I know a lot of people like Childress as well too. So I think he could possibly stay. But then you got you got Kendrick, which I didn't like that whole signing. Devin Moore, you know, what's going to happen with him. Reddy Stewart, I think that's another one. So I think there's a lot of corners that get cut way before any of those guys do.
What's up, Philly D?
I'm just curious to see by training camp, preseasons, they're playing. Can they stay healthy? That's going to be the theme of this cornerback room. Can those people that are those key pieces that we're talking about, can they stay healthy? Are they making it an easy decision to go, hey, we're going to get rid of Butler. We're going to get rid of Kendrick. We're going to get rid of Ballentine. We're going to, you know, those ones that make obvious sense because your main guys are actually available to you. I think you always have to have those guys on the back burner, whether you're talking about Childress and Butler. But at the same time, it's just, I think we all kind of in that same category, knowing that, hey, those guys are going to go down. It's going to be a rotation back there. Their college days say that. So I think prevention injuries. I don't think that's something that the Cowboys really strive upon, and I think getting back quickly from those injuries, again, is not something that the Dallas Cowboys medical staff is very good at. When we talk about, oh, well, the team doctor was there and everything, what the hell does that mean? It's like the Dallas Cowboys team doctor was there, and he's, old guy that runs around with the cowboy hat. It's just like, what's that mean to me? Like, it's when I don't see Bland back, when I don't see some of these guys like Gallup coming back for weeks and weeks upon end, I don't really think about that as a positive. They need to make a change, just like they made a difference and change when it came to the defensive coordinators or coordinators in general. They need to make that same type of change when it comes to the medical staff. I think there needs to be an upgrade. So again, I might be talking out my ass when it comes to that, but I think our medical staff definitely has not been up to par with what the NFL needs, right?
I would agree with that 100%. I mean, it's just not. It's not up to par. But DeVaris, Eagles Nation still talking about AJ having sex. Yeah. The karma going to hit hard. DeVaris, we talked about it to lead up the show. The love triangle. Go back and check it out if you missed it. But yeah, it'll be interesting. NFC East is wide open, Phil. It is wide open. I don't think Giants are in the mix. That's just my own personal opinion. I think Washington, after hearing Louis T, he opened up my eyes a little bit. I still believe that it's the Eagles versus Dallas. But again, we'll see how that schedule plays out. Washington may jump us all, and it wouldn't surprise me. Would it surprise you, Phil, if Washington just went and killed and had a killer season?
No.
It's like that's where I'm at. Anything.
Well, it would
happen.
surprise me in the
sense.
it would surprise me in the sense that I think that they were the least improved out of everybody in our division. But at the same time, how our division runs and how competitive we are, even if one team is really, really bad and the other team is a Super Bowl bound team,
well,
the one bad team can come out on top, and that's just how the NFC East kind of.
I got a weird thing for you, Phil. Would it surprise you if Eagles finished third? Right? And I'm not here to say they are, but would it really surprise you?
No.
That's
just like
kind
it
of where
wouldn't
I'm
surprise
at.
me if they won it either. So it's like.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not here to say they're finishing third, but it wouldn't surprise me. That's how close I think it is. I think what would surprise me if the Giants won more than 7-8 wins. But I think that's an improvement, obviously. And I think Jackson Dart in a year two, you know how that goes.
I think the only thing that would surprise me, Aiden, if you're talking about the Giants, would it surprise you if the Giants won it? I think it would be just surprising in the sense that he was able to stay healthy. When you talk about the running back, you're talking about the quarterback and his habits and everything like that. I think if you can stay healthy where your backup isn't coming in to have it to win games, then I think you're definitely a competitor as well. But, man, I think you have to kind of, it's kind of one of those things, when we had Sean Lee, well, this is a difference maker. This can win us games. But we knew that he was going to be injured some days. And I think that's kind of where your quarterback is now until he learns to slide, until he learns, until you get that baseball guy in there where he's learning to slide and stuff. And you know how those guys, they'll get those flags and take those extra hits on those quarterbacks. So unless you're not running your quarterback at all in certain situations, it's going to be a hard thing to miss. But I think as long as he stay healthy, I think they definitely have a chance.
Yeah. I agree. It's going to be exciting how this plays out. It really is. But we're just getting started here, It's like we have these OTAs pretty much over, right? And then they're off until a mandatory minicamp, which is, I believe, June 16th, which comes up in a week and a half, in 2 weeks.
Get somebody on here.
And then you have that month of downtime where before it's usually around July 27th. Now, before we get out of here, I would like to discuss the news of the day as far as the training camp. I think this is more important than anything, Phil. Dallas has a policy of not playing starters in preseason games, which is fine. But they have issued the two teams they will be scrimmaging against and having joint practices with. And thank God we have the Rams this year. The Rams and the Cowboys will have joint practices together. Nothing like playing the best iron sharpening iron, going up against that beast of a team. And we're going to be joint practicing against an up-and-coming Saints team. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because we do play the Rams in preseason game. Now we're going to joint practice them, and we play them in the regular season. So we're going to get our fill of the Rams. So we're going to match ourselves up. We're going to know. That's where you're going to know everybody. In training camp, when you go up against the Rams, how far you are away. You know, we're not. And
are you being able to confuse their? Are you able to confuse their offense, where their offense is a little bit more, you know, bing bang boom? I'm going to say, because it's just all of a sudden it's the hike, the step back, the throw, the catch. Like, it's just a boom, boom, boom. Everything's kind of there, and even when it's happening out of rhythm, it's still kind of like just a cognitive wheel, just kind of just turning, and so as all of a sudden you see somebody flash open, and I got to give them credit in that sense, man. They've been a threat, and they did that whole thing, which I am so happy that the Rams, in the sense that when they did this, they are basically shoving the words of Jerry Jones right back into his mouth about, well, you gotta, you're gonna have to, sacrifice this and that, and when you can't win some bull like that, and blah, 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 like he just the old ass oil tycoon. Yeah, well, guess what, man? Like you ain't jacking with Super Bowls either because of that old ass way of thinking. I just like the fact that it was very quickly shoved right back in his face.
Well, I would love, and they can't, but I would love for the beat writers to say, well, Jerry, you made a comment a few years ago that there's a lot of ways to win, and you don't want to do what the Rams did, really putting their future in jeopardy with the salary cap. They won a Super Bowl. They had one bad year, Jerry. One. That was their future. Then they made it back to a championship game and lost to Philly. And now they are the favorites by a lot.
That's how
the
it
Vegas odds by a lot to win it all. Your thoughts, jackass? But that won't happen. I would love it.
You gotta do it like the Happy
You're
Gilmore
fired.
and get him a really
You're
good.
fired.
Gotta give him a really good jackass. Yeah, jackass. Just one of those.
Jackass.
But that's how it is, man. When you look at the off season and the terrible season that they had because of defensive wise last year, those talk about those rebuild type of seasons where you're just not going to have success that year. You're hoping to be competitive, but at the same time, when you look at resetting, because of this, we had to move from this quarterback, and there was a big huge cap number that we had to eat up, and yeah, man, and they're right back into the beat, and yeah, they're not there. On paper, it looks amazingly. Oh my God. When you look at
the new Madden cover,
that is hilarious. That is the deluxe.
You got Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel, and you got AJ and Hassan Reddick and the massage therapist. They're trying to find out whose baby it is. There you go. That's culture for you there, baby.
Yeah, what do you think about Caleb Williams getting the Madden cover?
You hate him, right? Yeah, I like Caleb Williams. I think it's a curse, though, so they're effed.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't bother me as long as it's not my player. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
I thought it was a good pick for them. I mean, whether he's deserving of it or anything, I think just the fact that that team did turn around. He was the leader. He did do some times where I just saw there were some great plays by him as well too. So, yeah, man, just. When I look at quarterbacks and who could have been on it, I think they did a really good choice. But at the same time, I can hear the arguments of people talking about, well, has he done enough to be on there? He hasn't done anything. Was he in the MVP candidate race? So I think should have been Matt Stafford on there. How long ago was Stafford on there? Was he on there more recently? No, I don't know. Was it?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't play Madden as much, so some of my video you would know more than I would.
Yeah, now I'm just curious, man. Now Matt Stafford. Is he on the Madden cover? No, I don't see anything.
Football fanatic.
So I mean, to me,
the
how is
crazy
that
eyes
guy,
lineman has to be on the field first, brother. I think the average height of their wide receiver core is 5'9".
So Bryan,
Stop.
I mean, really, honestly, this is how the off season is going to kind of be, really, right? We got to. I think somebody said it in the chat. I'm not sure who it was, and I can't highlight, so I apologize. But they were saying there's I think it might have been Lee Commander. There's 5 weeks of football, really, stuff that's happening. I think, if you don't count the news things, oh, this so domestic this, and a person got arrested for that, and if you don't count any of that, or the Baker Mayfield is not going to negotiate contracts when training camp starts to happen. I'm surprised that all of a sudden became a news story that started coming out of nowhere. This NFL, again, the NFL, this is what the media does. They jump from the next thing. If somebody takes care of business, they're jumping on the next one that could possibly be drama.
What do you think's going to happen? Phil, what do you think's going to happen if Dallas gets out to like a 3-1, 4-1 start? Even with that tough schedule, what do you think is going to happen?
Oh yeah,
I'm not saying that, but let's just lose our minds and say they got out to a 4-0 start or something like that, 3-1.
There's gonna be that talk every single week, every hour, every half hour. It's gonna be a segment. It's gonna get the rest of the NFL fans all pissed off. And again, they just talk out their ass. And then, again, the media is always in the right now moment. What's happening right now is all of a sudden like a quarterback that could not do it for 10 years. All of a sudden he's blowing up. Is he going to be talked about like that? And that's just how they are, man. And so I think our quarterback is unfortunately with it in that category until you get to the playoffs or start to play those playoff games. None of that shit in the meantime mean anything. And if you do something negative, it definitely is going to be something against you. So I think there's no bright side then until you get into the playoffs. But you got to get there. And right now, I think we're excited about the possible team that's going to be in front of us. I know there's going to be some people that, if you're following this team, you're following these young guys coming into this team, you're going to be disappointed in the sense of you're going to watch somebody get signed by another team, because I think there's a lot of talent in those positions that we were talking about. Whether you're talking about a corner that maybe you like that's going to walk away, because guess what? You need to have a lot of corners because you don't know what you have health-wise. If you're looking at these defensive tackle room and you're looking at those main guys that are going to also be here, who's the one that's going to be leaving? Because guess what? There's a lot of defensive tackles on the roster that is not going to be here. What's going to happen with some of the wide receivers? You're going to have to see some of those walk away. Is there going to be an Amendola in those mix where he's going to go to another team and make a name for himself? So, Bryan, a lot of questions. This is what we like about training camp. You're not going to get the answers, but at least you get a little bit of a taste.
I'm excited because I don't need much answers on offense as far as CD and Pickens, Ferguson, and Dak.
Sorry, KH.
I just noticed how fast Phil talks. Yeah, he's unbelievable, K.
I apologize, and that's why sometimes it all.
I'm the same way. That's probably why you can tell earlier Phil was annoyed because I was going on these long talks. So I'm trying to cut it short.
Hey, at least you're not doing it all slow in the long.
I'm trying to keep it upbeat. I was outside sweating like a harness off.
There are some content creators that I love with the Cowboys. I think when you talked about Landon Holyfield, like you talked about him the other day,
he's an interesting. He's like cat. Sorry,
he sounds like he's
as much as I like some of his content.
Oh yeah, I love his knowledge and stuff like that. It's stuff, but
I mean, it's nauseating to watch him talk. Sorry, Landon, if you're watching. Sorry, brother. Not Phil. That's my opinion. You need to give you a little bit of spoof, a little something, a little oomph. Mm-hmm. He's a good guy. Anyway, yeah. So I'm looking forward to training camp for all those battles. I want to see the battles that are, and that's going to be exciting, isn't it? I mean, that's what. Don't worry about wins and losses.
Well, that's the thing you want to do is be going into a training camp going, okay, well, this is the main roster. This is how it's going to be. I'm pretty sure we could all pick the starters itself, but you shouldn't be able to pick the whole roster. I think there should be some ifs, ands, and buts about the whole thing.
Well, defensively especially. A lot of the holdover guys versus the newer guys and, the Christian Parker.
Who are they liking?
Where he's going to go.
What are you not seeing, Like maybe you're not seeing something. I remember how they talk about Jadon Blue. I think that's something we can talk about as much as we're going to go. I think that's something I've been hearing about. I don't think we talked about, and I was not giving him credit as well too. To me, I'm one of those Cowboys fans. Blue. I'm not a big Jadon Blue fan. I'm not gonna say that I hate him. He definitely keeps putting words in my mouth. He's gonna get these sound clips made. He goes, yeah. See, Bryan said that Phil hated him and stuff like that. Did you hear me?
Phil Primetime hates Jadon Blue.
Yeah, if you're looking at running backs, I don't really like Hunter Lemke, but I mean, again, I'm not disappointed.
You should have loved my video the other day. Not that you watch it, but I said if I'm playing with you, but if we have a training camp. Did you hear? That's a bright spot. Jadon Blue's their new running backs coach, Ross, loves Jadon Blue. He said he's come a long way. Not the new, he was there last year, but he's come a long way since last year, meaning his professionalism. He's going to be electric, everybody, but if you can't pick up the blitz and protect your quarterback, A, and B, if you can't be a professional from Monday to Sunday, and he's come a long way.
To me, going into this season,
Phil hates that.
If you're going to go and put this running back room together, if you're going to go in there with 3 running backs, not talking about Hunter as the fullback position and being able to flex and do other different stuff, to me, it should be Javonte Williams, Phil Maffa, and Jadon Blue. Blue should be the change of back, the one that's not the pounder as well too. So if Javonte needs to come out, Phil Maffa needs to be the guy that comes in. You have vision, you have some stuff. He does some tough running. He didn't get a lot of touches last year because obviously, Malik Davis came out of nowhere from the couch and started doing his thing as well too, as Malik Davis does. I could see that guy right there going to Washington. But when you look at the rest of it, I think, I've been one of those skeptical guys that say that this team needs to step up. But if you were to go right now, I think that would be my 3 running backs going into the season. I need those guys to get some time. I need those guys to get some touches behind this offensive line. I need to see them in action and not just held back. And, oh, you look kind of sick and injured today. Maybe we got to store you for 8 weeks, So I think the running back room is not special to the point where you got to show us some creativity.
Well, everybody wants to. Again, I'm opposite of Phil. I think our running back room, as long as it stays healthy, is more than fine because I love Javonte. And I think nobody is giving credit to the backup who came in and had a fantastic season off of the couch. Malik Davis. He's going to fight for a job again this year. Maybe get cut, added to the practice squad, somehow find his way on the active roster. But they love Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa averaged over 5 yards a carry at Clemson, had a shit ton of carries. He's a physical mofo. Phil Maffa was stashed. Make no mistake, he had a slight injury. They stashed his ass because of all the running backs that are no longer on the team this year. But I did bring up the fact that if everything works out the way we think, let's not forget about Israel Abanikanda, who we got from the Jets late in the season, another electric running back who doesn't offer any blocking. So that's his issue. I get it. But Hunter Lepke, I thought outside the box, and I said, Hunter Lepke has value. Who might value him the most? How about Mike McCarthy with the Steelers, right? Think maybe there's a possible trade late in training camp. You're not going to cut Lepke, just like the Steelers are not going to cut.
Who do you have to replace him? You don't have anybody to replace him right now. I think there isn't anybody good enough.
H-back. It'll be an H-back type situation, like most teams don't use. At fullback, you could.
Tight ends, things like that.
You can do an H-back situation, but they have a Alex Highsmith, who seems to be the odd man out linebacker-wise since they re-signed Nate Herbig, T.J. Watt's there, Patrick Queen because of contract is still there, Jamin Davis. Alex Highsmith is rumored to be on the trade block, but he's not one of those guys that's going to give you a high draft pick. He's just a nice journeyman contributor. Yeah. Maybe you and just remember I said this, you reach out to Mike McCarthy if everything goes well and you trade a Lepke for an Alex Highsmith type. Lepke has value. He plays special teams. So, and I know Hunter Lepke and Mike McCarthy, he's probably going to be, he loved them big time. And as much as I do, but
you just call Mike McCarthy.
He has value.
Hey, guy, are you still mad about the draft?
Yeah. Hunter Lepke, So just look for that. I don't think you would ever. He's too good to cut, but maybe you can flip him for an Alex Highsmith type player. That would be something I would be willing to do, and Phil would get rid of Hunter Lepke, and he would be doing cartwheels in Naples. Would you not?
Yeah, and nothing against Hunter as well too. I definitely like. There has been some times where he has made some plays when we really needed him, that first down. I don't always feel confident when the ball is in his hands, but I mean, the guy falls forward most of the time, and other than a couple of catches, he's done definitely a lot more than what Schoonmaker has done. So I mean, to me, I at least feel better about the ball going to Hunter compared to when Luke is out there. I don't feel like Luke catches, like maybe he's shooting 3-pointers, like, oh, if you're hitting it 40% of the time, he's doing pretty good.
Scotty loves Hunter too, says Bleed Blue. I know he does, but
yeah.
I'm just saying, brother. If we can get Alex Highsmith,
I like somebody, so it's like, that's like
I'm
a
not
relationship,
that.
like they like him until somebody better comes along.
Yeah. Again, Bleed Blue, aka Clemente. If Jaden Blue is that guy, brother. If Jaden Blue is that guy, then you have Javante, Jaden, Phil Maffa, and Maffa can do that. That Hunter Lepke role. If Phil brought it up, who would be it? Well, Moffitt could do it. He's a big dude. He could give you some blocking too, I'm sure. I'm just saying, if indeed that happens, let's try and trade him for a position of need that wouldn't cost you much, and that would be an Alex Highsmith type player. I don't know. I kind of like that idea, but what do I know?
Hey, I just need somebody with a mentality that he's going to be in that fullback position. I don't need somebody that's a twinkle toes.
Lockdowns?
Yeah. God, thank you. I need somebody that's going to hit that hole and wants to hit people. Like, remember, was it Lorenzo Neal? Remember him? Where he just made people like, just, oh, you want to step in the hole and get in the way? Like, okay, you're gonna regret it. I need that defensive linebacker, whatever it is. I need him to regret stepping in there. Like one of those times he's gonna go ahead and make a business decision because he doesn't want to get hit at this moment, and one of our other guys can make a play or he can make a play. So I need a fullback in there like that, and that's the reason why. I mean that. Nothing against Hunter, but it just doesn't blow up my skirt in that sense. So I mean that's why I lived in Florida down here, 90s and stuff. I saw Mike Allstott running and stuff. So I need a Mike Allstott type of guy where he's going to be able to hit somebody and he's going to be breaking tackles as he goes through the line. So a Jerome Bennis type of situation, So So I mean that's my wish list, but I mean I'm nicking and picking. If you're going to give me that type of running back, I would rather have the tight end. I would rather have the second tight end. I'm interested to see what happens in the tight end room. I would love for Luke to kind of be expendable, but again, it's gonna depend on what we see in training camp. And
Michael Trigg.
Yep, Michael Trigg. I think this is a big guy that everybody keeps talking about in the sense of the tight end room. I like Span Ford. I'm a big Span Ford fan. There were some flashes that we saw last year. Of course, he dropped off as well too, disappeared. Don't know if that was a scheme thing because I saw all the tight ends kind of do that as well too. But you got a guy that can get in there and block. I think that's something with Trigg. You gotta, you need to kind of show him a little bit more in the sense of blocking because obviously we all know he's more of a vertical guy. I would.
Could you? I mean,
if I could.
I know you're not going to get a lot, everybody, but as opposed to releasing him, because we have Princeton Fan too, where everybody overlooks, but Princeton Fan is just a solid all-around football player. So you kind of like that guy over a guy who misses assignments and gives you a splash here or there and spoon liquor, or Schoonmaker, you know what I mean. But I'm just saying, if they get out of training camp healthy. Instead of cutting Schoonmaker, maybe you flip him again. This is why I like other organizations over ours at times, because they do that type of thing. They think outside the box and reach out to a team who may have a surplus in an area, and you can move a player.
Yeah, but you need to be proactive about it. You got to get out ahead of it. Like months ahead of it, weeks ahead of it, not just like, we didn't have it by next week. Yeah, we didn't have it by next week. I guess it ain't gonna, but go ahead, just go run. It's like, no, man, you need to tell somebody. It's like selling your house, man. You don't just go off, I didn't sell it by next week. I guess it's not gonna happen. I'll just give it away. No, man, you gotta let it sit there. Somebody's gonna eventually come in that's very desperate. I need to get into this area. I need to, I love the school district. Whatever it is. It's next to the hospital. During hurricanes, we're the first ones to get power. Whatever it is, you need to have your reasons to run with it. But again, there's so many question marks across all your rosters, right? Everybody one of them. But I think there are a lot of bright spots, and I think that's why we were talking about it in this chat. It's going to be a competitive NFC East, and that's what he talks about when he talks about it's up for grabs. You know, and Drew's even pointed out, even when a team is good and a team is bad, you know, we don't know which team is going to be bad. We have our
building a monster
assumptions, but that team should still be competitive. Whether it's Washington that we're all talking about, I still find it's still going to be a tough win. You know, I don't expect Jaden Daniels just to roll over and let him pet his stomach. So I expect his mom to be out there talking trash as well. So Bryan, anything you want to say before we get out of here? I know we've been going for about an hour and 40 minutes. We can get going all night.
Nah, we're good. Yeah. Listen, we're excited. You know, it's the downtime, and then we have one nice chunk before training camp. You know, from the mandatory mini camps. I was telling my wife I have a video that I need to finish and upload, but I just have, you know, I'm doing house projects and running here, running there. I may do a live stream later tonight, so make sure you bell notification. If not tonight, maybe tomorrow during the day. I don't know yet. Probably tomorrow during the day, but you never know. It all depends what happens. I have a feeling I'm going back out and try and do more of my deck, so it'll be tomorrow. But either way, yeah, look for an NFC East clash Thursday, I think. It may get pushed another week. And the biggest thing is not because you don't want to do it. You just want to make sure that the roster is good. We have some people that, you know, they're going to be able to talk. It has some dollars behind it. Yeah, I want good people. So I had a lot of people who want to do it, but yeah, I'm trying to find different content creators, not just the same old. I reached out to Bad Dog. He said, unfortunately, with the Knicks and the Yankees, he does all that stuff. So he goes, he definitely wants to do it, but just not right now. I understand. Yeah. So we shall see, everybody. Stay tuned. I'll let everybody know. But I'll definitely do a live either tonight or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow, everybody. So let's gear up for tomorrow. Let's enjoy the rest of the day. But yeah, Phil, just chilling, doing work around the house, looking for some Cowboys info. We'll bring it to you, right?
Yeah, perfect timing as well, too. I just got a text. My girl's on their way home. So, bam, there he goes. Made a
clean the house. Hurry up.
Yeah, exactly. Party, everybody, go. But anyways, Bryan, I appreciate you becoming available. I know you were sanding your deck all morning. Yeah, wax on, wax off. But anything you want to say to the folks before we get out here? I know I've said that before, but there's so many things that we can say.
I'm good. I'm good.
So, guys, I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate you talking trash. I appreciate anything, all the insights, the super chats, everything. I think an amazing group that we had in there. But one thing I appreciate you not forgetting to do.
Always ring that bell.
Ring that damn bell.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
Gametime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
I don't know what it is yet, but it could be a lot of things.
Come on, are you going to tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil. And, of course, my co-host, Gametime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000. I don't even need to hear it.